Do you like a challenge? Apparently I do. With this week's Stampin' Up! Weekly deals, the Alphabet Press was one of the products that are 25% off, and I saw immediately there were two that I thought would go together beautifully. Then I made a challenge. How many of the products could I use on one card? You're going to have to come and see this. The Alphabet embossing folder and the Neutrals Coordinations cardstock are two of the products that are 25% off for this week's Stampin' Up! Weekly deals, January 14th through January 20th only. And I thought these two are going to go together beautifully. Can't wait to show you what I've done with them. I'm Shelley Godby, the owner and CEO of Stamping Smiles, and for virtually 13 years I've been teaching others how to create their own hand stamped smiles. So let's do some quick embossing. Embossing means having a raised surface. So one form of embossing will be with the die cutting machine. When we put our cardstock in here, this image is going to be pushed up and through with a 3,000 pounds of pressure that will be applied with the Sizzix Big Shot die cutting machine. And so when we put this in, we want the image to be embossed, raised up. And so to have that, you'll have the Stampin' Up! Logo with the front side of the cardstock facing that way. If we turned it over, it would be debossed, meaning it would go into the cardstock from our front. So I have my Big Shot with my multi-purpose platform, my cutting pad, my embossing folder with my paper in it, another cutting pad, and then we just crank this through and apply all 3,000 pounds of pressure. Isn't that amazing? With such a little crank that we can have all of that pressure applied. And look at that embossing. What's so cool about the Coordinations cardstock is underneath this surface, and this is early espresso, there's a lighter color that's just waiting to come up and through. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make that come up by using the sanding block. So if you have a small area, you could use that, but we have this whole big area, so we're going to use this side, and we're just going to sand this. And so we're going to have this great distressed, aged look. Isn't this fantastic? And how great is it with this folder? And as I was doing this, because I knew I wanted to use these two together to make a card for you and use some of the other products too, but before I even thought about any of the other products that were on sale, I thought, wow, that really reminds me of the Soho Subway Designer Series paper. And so I pulled it out and picked some that I thought would go great with that. This is nice. Early Espresso does happen to be one of the colors. And this print, that looks old-timey. I liked that. This one was the one that came to mind right away. And I ended up not using this one. It was, for what I was using, I wasn't going to be able to get enough of the pattern. This is nice next to it, huh? Like this. So many great patterns in here. And actually this is the one I ended up choosing, but it's already looking a little distressed and perfect with it. So how many more of the Weekly Deals products was I able to use without it getting gaudy? Well, I used the Chalk Talk framelits, in particular this one, and one more, I used the basic black chevron ribbon. And you might be thinking, boy, she had a lot of early espresso going on. That was her Coordinations cardstock, and it was in her designer paper, but now we're using black. Yes, we are. I'm going to show you how I pulled it all together with my card. So here's my finished card with the 4 Weekly Deals products used together. The Alphabet Press that we embossed, the Neutrals Coordinations cardstock, the early espresso, the Chalk Talk framelits, and the basic black chevron ribbon. And pulling it together, I have that friend is from the Amazing Family stamp set, and the Thinking of You is from the Teeny Tiny Wishes. And at first I had stamped both of those in basic black, so it would tie in with my basic black card base and over here, but it wasn't making me happy. And then I knew what I needed to do. So Friend was stamped with Early Espresso and the Thinking of You in the basic black. So now everything is tied in together. Oh, and look, the linen thread, that little touch on there was pulling my brown in onto the black. Oh, and speaking of that, white is the neutral on that chevron ribbon, and Very Vanilla is my neutral over here. So I sponged some Crumb Cake Classic Stampin' Pad ink on there so that would be warmer and look vintage like everything else. So there it is, 4 of the products made my own challenge and took it, and I'm really liking this card. It was fun to come up with a masculine card. That's how that worked out. I think this is a great masculine card. I mean, any of my girlfriends wouldn't mind getting this, but it's great to have something for the guys too. So the 4 products that are on sale, there are other products, so you'll want to check that out. And every week on Tuesday, there are new weekly deals. So, but for these 4 products through January 20th only, that's Monday, the Alphabet Press embossing folder, the Neutrals Coordinations cardstock, the Chalk Talk framelits, and the basic black chevron ribbon, 25% off. That's really a nice savings for you. You can go get those at my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com, and get your savings on this week's weekly deals. I'm Shelley Godby, teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles. Thanks for watching.